Seems like leaving the West and relocating to Southeast Asia, like Thailand or Vietnam, really became a niche. Let's say, what if after 5 years, or maybe even 3 years or less, you regret? What if you change your mind? You left everything behind, and now you want to come back. But for some of us, it's not that easy. I've been traveling for 7 years now. I left Brazil and I went to Russia as my first country. I never came back to my home country, I never came back to Brazil. Then after Russia, I went to Turkey. I lived there as a resident too. Then I came to Thailand, my first Southeast Asian country. I came here in 2023. And I've been around like everywhere, like Malaysia, Vietnam, only Myanmar and Brunei I haven't been. And right now I'm in India when I'm talking to you here. Let me show you the video. It's the view. It's quite nice. It's like reminds me of Varanasi. It's like this big lake. It's a very peaceful place here. Very nice, very exotic place, very interesting. During the 7 years that I have been traveling, there were moments that I thought that maybe I should give up and just come back and start over. So let me share with you some things that I learned during my journey here. The first things we must have in mind is the difference of being a tourist, of being an influencer, and being an expat, and being someone who lives in a country, someone that has to pay bills, who has to live day by day, to interact with the locals, to work remotely, or even receive their pension. I don't know how it's gonna I don't know how you're gonna support yourself. This is another topic for another day. When you are a tourist, you you have no boss, you have no limits, you have this budget, this amount of money, and you can spend a lot of money actually. Even in Thailand, they have a joke, for example, like the 2 week millionaire, which is like the person who comes to Thailand and he feels extremely super rich because he can. Yeah, because everything is very cheap in Thailand. And then for these 2 weeks, for these 3 weeks, he feels super special. He spends everything in massages, in girls, in alcohol, nightclubs, buying clothes, etc., etc. But when you are an expat, when you have to live in the country, you have to rent an apartment, you have to settle down, you have to, manage your daily life. Because if you have like the mindset of a tourist and you are living in a country for 1 month, 3 months, or 1 year, you're gonna go broke very fast. So to put it simple, don't only experience the good things. Actually, you're gonna experience a lot of bad things when you are an expat. You cannot, for example, go to massages every day, go to the beach, you stay 8 hours in the beach. You can go to the bars and drink your ass off, like from 7 p.m. until 2 a.m. every day. For most of us, when we come to a place like Thailand or Vietnam, at first it sounds incredible because, oh my God, I came here to this new country, everything is so friendly, everybody's so smiley, like the hot weather, the beautiful women. This is the honeymoon phase. For some people, it can last up to 3 months. Some others last until 6 months. And then around maybe 2 to 5 years is where most of the expats, most of the foreigners, they burn out. Because like you have seen all the islands, you have been to all the beaches, you have seen all the museums, you went to all the cafes. Then you realize that maybe all your friends that you made during this time, your social circle shrinks, or you don't have any meaningful connection because everybody here is passing through. Like you don't, especially like in places like Bali. I have a friend of mine that she said like she couldn't make any real friend. It's like everybody's like in this party mode or tourist mode because everybody wants to go to the nightclubs and drink and meet people for boom boom or all this, for all that matter. So you don't have any meaningful connections. And then that's when it gets lonely, and that's when it gets boring. One of the reasons that many expats and foreigners, they go crazy, literally, because I've been reading a lot of, every day I read at least one post in Cambodia and Facebook groups or Vietnam, that some expat, they just went nuts. They had like this mental problem, like a mental breakdown, and then they are living on the street or something. I think it's because of the loneliness. It can be very lonely here. Like I mentioned, yes, like at first, like the honeymoon phase, the life is very nice, you can do whatever you want. But then when you have to go through your day and you want to have like this community feeling, that's when you have a problem, because you're not even in your country anymore. You don't speak the language. You have to rely on people passing by. Like other foreigners, they are here maybe for 2 weeks, for 3 months. You have no connection, no meaningful connections. And if you find someone, like a local, to speak English to you or speak your language, still is going to be very limited. I mean, at least that's my experience. It's not. I'm not saying that this is going to be your case, or you don't need to come to Southeast Asia. But I'm just being the devil's advocate. And the main problem is not even about the bonding or speaking deeply conversation with the locals, because you can find people like this, of course, right? The problem is that as a whole, in general, you as a foreigner, you're never going to be seen as someone part of society. And in some countries, this is stronger than others. For example, if someone comes to a specific country, like let's say Thailand, for 15 days, spend all the money in boom booms and alcohol on the beach, in hotels. And if you speak Thai, if you are Buddhist, if you have the pink card, if you are legal, have all the visas, the proper visas, you're going to be seen as the same as this tourist. I'm not saying that you need to have a special treatment, but I think you need to be treated more than just like a dumb tourist that does dumb things in the country. And this is when loneliness gets even harder, especially if you don't have a girlfriend, if you don't have a wife, because you are surrounded by people, but at the same time, you still feel completely alone. And then, even if you made a relationship here, like you found like a girl, or that you fell in love, you end up like breaking up. So that's when you start thinking about your life. You start thinking that maybe what I left behind, maybe it wasn't so bad. Maybe I just had to change my social circle. Maybe I just had to change my job. Maybe I just had to change my city. I didn't need to change continents to have a different life or to have a better life. As a tourist, you don't need to work in another country, especially dealing with time zones. Nobody tells you that you're going to be, for example, like 8 hours or 10 hours in front of a screen trying to sort out many problems or try to sort out your customers' problems. When most people are starting their days, I am actually ending my day. And then if you want something to be communicated like very fast, like urgent, you have to wait for a whole afternoon, a whole evening until you can talk to someone. And this sounds very, it's just 8 hours. Like, man, this is like more than half an hour in your day. Yes, it's basically almost like 50% of the day if you think about it. And if you want something done very fast, you have to wait a long time. Even though I'm from a more relaxed culture, for example, I'm from a Latino, yes, like Mediterranean culture where people are more relaxed, laid back, or smiley, friendly, uh, much more than a Germanic or Anglo or Slavic one. Still, some things in Southeast Asia, they make me, a bit irritated, let's say. And in Asia, you have a lot of this saving face culture, especially in Thailand. And Thailand, Japan, they have a lot of this. So people cannot just express themselves. They cannot just be themselves. They have to put on a mask. And it's insane, the bureaucracy here, especially in countries like Thailand where the laws change all the time. And then you have to save a whole day to sort some problem out. For example, my wife, she had to go to the bank, and then to change a phone number, we had to maybe go 3 days in the bank, and they couldn't sort out the problem. Only on the fourth day, they could manage to change the phone number. I mean, I can change my phone number whenever I want in Brazil. I just through the app. It takes maybe 15 minutes, but in Thailand, it takes like literally 3 days. You have to visit the bank, you have to sign up some papers, you have to give I don't know, it's just very confusing. And then the only person responsible to do this freaking job isn't there because for some reason. So it's really exhausting in the end of the day. It's not even this type of fun anymore, for example, that you can, when you're talking to your friends or family back home, you can have a couple of laughs, like, ha ha ha, look, wow, I struggled so much today, all these people, like, no, it's, after 1, 2 years, it gets really exhausting. And it takes a toll on you. In the end, it's kind of you traded some type of stress that you had back home, but now you have new types of stresses going on in your life for completely different reasons. And I'm going to tell now something that is a big problem that you should consider before coming to Southeast Asia and start over, which is, I think this is mostly because of influencers, and that is, they come without any savings or without any plan B. And you must have a plan B, because what if your savings, they run low? What if they evaporate? What if you have to, for example, you have like a medical emergency, and now you just have your salary, your pension, or whatever? What if you lose your job back home, like a remote job? You have to rely on local jobs. And it's getting very, very competitive here, especially, for example, there are many places in Southeast Asia, like Hanoi, where there are many people just because they are white, they get English teaching jobs, even though they don't speak any English at all, literally illegal immigration. And if you have to rely, and if you, I can just work in a bar or maybe wash dishes, like part time, no, there is no such thing as this. And I hear this a lot, like it or not, like as weird as it sounds, because these jobs they are for the locals. And even if you get a job like this, you're gonna get maybe, I don't know, $1 a day, or maybe $3 or $2 a day, and you cannot live with this money. At least not with the standard that you want. This is a horrible situation to be in, because now, unlike back home, you have everything against you. I see many foreigners, they are living like homeless people in Cambodia or Vietnam. Thailand, it used to be like this, but they are cracking down on tourists. They are taking measures. For example, they are asking how much money you have. They are asking to show the money, not just like on the screen, on the banking, internet banking. They actually show the real cash. You have to show the real cash. You have to show the flight tickets, because there are so many people coming to Southeast Asia, and they think everything is so easy and then everything is so cheap. But and even if, for example, like, if I have only $1,000 or maybe $2,000, $3,000, I'm gonna have, like, I can live for 1 year in Southeast Asia. And maybe this was true 10 years ago, but it's not. Like, after pandemic, everything is much more expensive, even in Southeast Asia. So I think this video is becoming a bit long. I hope this video is making sense. I mean, I'm not saying that you shouldn't try, because, like it or not, if you want to make the decision to come to Southeast Asia, at least you have a lot of balls and you have the courage to do that. You are better than most people that they prefer not to take risks and prefer to complain all their lives, and they prefer to live a life that maybe they don't want to live. Sometimes you didn't make a mistake, coming to Southeast Asia, just like you had to, just took like a very long way to realize what you really needed. You have also, I don't think you should be paralyzed by fear or paralyzed by, I don't know, what the media says or what your friend says, or, like your family. I think you should give a shot, because life is about opportunities. And if you don't take this opportunity, I think maybe you can regret not coming to Southeast Asia. So what if you really regret coming to Southeast Asia? Maybe you shouldn't buy your ticket back immediately, like if you regret. I think you should maybe change the city that you are. For example, maybe you started your new life in the Philippines, and then maybe you can try to live in Thailand, for example. Maybe if you started your life in Thailand, in Bangkok, maybe you should try to live in Phuket. Maybe you should try to live in Chiang Mai. Maybe you need to change your social circle. Maybe you should go to Vietnam, or vice versa, So it's all about finding your sweet spot, like your perfect place, place where you can find home. If you found this video helpful, please give a like, subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching this video, and see you in the next one. Happy trails.